I hope you're having a great day. Today I want to talk about the connection between chronic stress and body fat, infertility, bone density loss, so many different problems. For the longest time, everyone says, don't get stressed, it affects you. And today, medical science is actually showing us the connection and the impact of chronic stress on your weight, your overall fat percentage, the density of your bones, whether you will be able to conceive and have a child or not, or you need infertility treatments. It's different for everyone, but the concept remains the same. We are not designed to go through the kind of stress that we go through today. We're not. We can pretend we're cool with it. We can pretend we're strong, all of that stuff. And after all, life is life. We have to adapt with all the stress and the struggles and everything that happens every single day. But there are ways around it. Okay? If stress was real for everyone should be stressed. But it's a perception. Stress is not a person, a thing, or an event. Stress is the way you relate to a person, a thing, or an event. Today, I want you to understand very, very, very clearly what is happening in your body when you're chronically stressed. And when you understand this, you will be able to relate it to several issues that you may be having. If you are that person struggling to lose belly fat, or you're working out, dieting, but you're still not losing that weight, or you lose weight, you put it back on again, you have osteoporosis or osteopenia when you're 35 or 40 years old, women reaching menopause in their early 40s, PMS, painful PMS, heavy bleeding in young teenage girls, the inability to conceive, infertility, all of these problems. While there could be several other contributing reasons, you should never ever forget that one of the fundamentals connected with all of this is chronic stress. I'm not talking about day-to-day stress. The body is designed to handle day-to-day stress. I'm talking about stress, which when it goes up, it stays up. It just doesn't come home. Like you're stuck in a toxic relationship or in a toxic work environment where you spend 16 or 17 or all of your hours in that environment. You're chronically stressed. You're working a job that you don't like. You're chronically stressed. Okay, you're constantly a slave to your emotions, your negative emotions like guilt, resentment, bitterness, anger. All of these emotions are fine. There's nothing wrong with them. The problem is when we become slaves to them. Then we're in chronic emotional stress. Now understand, here's the fun part and the scary part. Understand what is happening in your body for me to say that it is chronic stress that is causing all of these problems today. It's multifactorial. There are many other things. But like I said, chronic stress is the fundamental. Now, when we get stressed as human beings, what's happening in our body? When we get stressed, cortisol, which is a hormone, starts to rise. It's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with cortisol. As cortisol rises, adrenaline also rises, and it sends different instructions to the human body, to the heart, to increase its heart rate, blood pressure to go up, blood sugar levels to adapt, digestion to slow down, so that we can fight or flee. That's the fight and flight response in stress. So cortisol is just a hormone communicating and preparing us for a stressful event, a thing, a person, a wild animal, whatever it is that you want to call that stressor. Okay? Now, as cortisol comes down because the stress is over, adrenaline comes down and there are signals sent to all the body, relax the heart rate, blood pressure can come down, blood sugar levels can come down, and your digestive system can start to work. We move into the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, here's the connection. What happens when cortisol goes up all the time because you're chronically stressed? It goes up and it stays up. Or it goes up, falls down, goes up again, falls again. You start having lesser and lesser cortisol. It is a condition called adrenal fatigue, when your adrenal glands can no longer produce the right amount of cortisol. So now the human body is intelligent. To survive, it has to create cortisol. How does it create cortisol, which you've depleted because you're chronically stressed? It starts to steal a hormone to make cortisol. Which hormone does it steal? Progesterone. So your body steals progesterone to make cortisol because cortisol is vital for survival. Now, while it makes cortisol because it's stolen progesterone, you have a problem of lesser progesterone. because progesterone is now being used to make cortisol. What happens when your levels of progesterone drop? Number one, you can't conceive. Number two, infertility. Number three, bone density problems. Number four, estrogen dominance. All that belly fat that you've been trying to lose, no matter what you do, exercise, nutrition, it's not going away. Estrogen dominance. You start to have problems like endometriosis, fibroids, cysts, fibromyalgia, inflammation in the body because you have an imbalance in your hormones. Progesterone plays a very important role in pregnancy. Sometimes your pregnancy can be terminated in between because your progesterone levels are very low. Progesterone is required to sustain a healthy pregnancy till the end. So a lot of miscarriages, there are many reasons for miscarriages. One of them is also the inability of the body to maintain progesterone levels. So now, I'm not against IVF. I'm not against all of these things. But have you tried to change your environment and reduce your stress before giving up and moving to IVF treatments away from a possible natural pregnancy? We've had hundreds of thousands of clients over the years who just changed their environment or learned to start using techniques to calm down, get their stress levels in check, and they conceived. We had people who were stuck in toxic work environments. They went on holidays, they conceived outside of this country, outside of their toxic environment. So my point is, yes, IVF plays a huge role for people who really have genuine problems. But are we jumping too quickly into infertility treatments when we're not taking care of the fundamental, which is stress, fat loss? You can keep changing your dietitians, your nutritionists, your gyms, your exercise programs, but the fundamental of stress that you now understand, food cannot fix this problem. More exercise cannot fix this problem. More chanting and more pranayam can't fix this problem. What can fix this problem is stress levels coming down. So let me go back and rechange that. Pranayama can help you because pranayama will help you balance your hormones and reduce your stress. So now when you understand this, you reach a weight plateau sometimes. You can't lose weight anymore. You want to check, am I chronically stressed? If yes, what can I do about it? We'll come to that. Sometimes this chronic stress is caused because of sleep deprivation. You may think you can manage your day with sleep deprivation, but your body can't. Your body moves into an immediate state of chronic stress if you are sleep deprived every day. And no matter what you do, you will have a hormonal imbalance. Now, we just spoke about fat loss and bone density and PMS and menopause and all of that stuff. It gets worse and more dangerous. Hormones are chemical messengers. They are constantly communicating with the body what to do, what not to do. Whether it's the formation of a tumor, the breakdown of a tumor, a pimple on your face, acne, constipation, diarrhea, everything is working with communication, including your moods. So if I have the wrong communication because I have a hormonal imbalance, when there's an imbalance, there is wrong communication. When there is balance, there is correct communication, which is why when your hormones are in balance, your period cycle is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is good. But when you're in an imbalance, you have all the problems because the communication is wrong. And that is why you need to understand today that chronic stress is the #1 cause of every disease out there. They have other contributors as well. Disease is multifactorial. But stress is the fundamental. So while you may be on the best medicine, the best nutrition, you have a fancy gym membership, okay, you have a great spiritual teacher, you have to own the responsibility to reduce the stress in your life. You may not be able to get rid of the stressors, but you can change the way you perceive stress. Part of spirituality today is learning the art of acceptance and letting go, because these two key techniques helps you to reduce your chronic stress. Most people are chronically stressed today because they're trying to control things that they cannot control. You are trying to control the uncontrollable. You're trying to be in control of the outcome. No one is in control of any outcome. All you are in control of is the process that you commit yourself to. So things like discipline, consistency, with the fundamentals. We don't need complication. We need simplicity. You put the fundamentals in place and you're consistent with them. You're disciplined with them. That's all you need. We don't need complication. We don't need complication. I don't need 2 hours of meditation. 15 minutes of meditation can be enough for me if I'm allowing the essence of that 15 minutes of meditation to slip into my day. Okay, you get angry, someone troubled you, you were in a toxic environment today. How do you get back on track? How do you get back on track? Happiness and peace is not a life without struggles. Happiness and peace is not a life without sadness. The thing is, we all think we're entitled to happiness and peace. We don't want to earn it. No one said a great life is one without suffering. A great life is one with suffering, and you know how to accept it, let go of it, change it, put the right actions in, and not become a slave to it. So you see, everyone's going to have stress. You, me, your children, your parents, everyone is going to have stress, because that's the way the world is moving today. The world is not moving with an agenda for peace. It's not going to happen. We have to create that peace by learning what to let go of and what to accept, what actions to take, what careers to build that can contribute to peace in society and the world. That's up to us. But if you look right now, if you sit back with the amount of entertainment, artificial intelligence, complication, all of that stuff, shouldn't we be a happier world? Shouldn't we be a world with less stress? But that's not the truth. Emotional and mental health problems are at its highest. Suicidal cases are at its highest. Divorces, breakups, everything is at its highest. We have to own our responsibility to create happiness and peace in our life by choosing what we want to focus on. So we can blame chronic stress in the world for making us sick, or we can choose to be larger than that by taking the right action. So now that you've understood, it is in your control. Chronic stress is destroying you and your children. Those young teenage boys and teenage girls that are growing up today with peer pressure, and they eventually are patients with PCOS or addiction problems and all of that stuff. It all starts with stress. How are we as a society taking off the peer pressure from our kids? How are we as adults not becoming slaves to peer pressure of society? The answers are all there. The choices are up to you and me. We choose. We choose everything in life. We have that power of choice. We choose the wrong thing, we have the ability to change our choice and change our path. But I can tell you one thing right now, the world is in chronic sickness and illness. Chronic sickness and illness rides on one fundamental that is missing, chronic stress. So what are the solutions? 1 is your perception. 2 is your spiritual part, grounding yourself. 3 is courage and strength to let go, accept. 4 is your meditation practice. If you don't like to meditate, sit in silence. If that doesn't work for you, reflection. We have to constantly be reflecting on what's serving us and what is not serving us so that we can make decisions to improve our emotional wellness. So that turns into mindfulness again. These are the things and the tools that are available free of cost to everyone. Some people choose other tools like alcohol binging, drugs, substances, over shopping, over socializing, and these are just like band-aids on a problem. They're still unhappy at the end of the day. They're still chronically stressed at the end of the day. It's not easy. It's difficult, but difficult doesn't mean impossible. So now that you've understood, I want all of you to reflect today. Every condition that you have, including a cancer, how can you change your perception of stress? How can you reduce this chronic stress on trillions of cells in the human body, your brain, your heart, your skin, your hair, everything? The moment you take stress off the body, your body moves into homeostasis. When the body's in a state of homeostasis, there is harmony. You harness the intelligence of your body to fix you, heal you, reduce inflammation, train your immune system. Today, everyone's trying to do the intelligence of the body's work, the body's job. We're trying to do that. We can never do that. No one has come close in science or medical science or nutrition to the intelligence of the body that exists within you. So the smarter we are, we will see, how can I harness this intelligence that built me, that gave birth to me, that moved me from a little egg into a full-grown adult. That intelligence that started the process of life is still within you. Most people are not using it. Most people have blocked it with complication, with chronic stress, with nutrients and supplements and stuff that we don't need. When we need it, we take it. When we don't need it, we don't take it. With unnecessary pushing the human body, with over-exercising, sleep deprivation, you've you've compromised the intelligence of your body. So now that you've understood, I'm going to explain it once more before we end this video. The more stressed you are, the more cortisol you produce. The more cortisol you produce, the less cortisol you can produce. So now the body needs to produce cortisol, so it starts to rob progesterone to make cortisol. So while cortisol is being made, now you have a problem, a new problem of low progesterone. And with low progesterone comes all of the problems, including the hormonal imbalance that we have. Men don't escape this as well. Men who have a lot of belly fat, but they have toned arms and all of that stuff, but they're struggling to lose it, cortisol again. Because your testosterone levels are low, you have belly fat. So we need to understand that your hormones are everything. They regulate every single communication bit in the human body. So reflect on this. And if you have chronic stress in your life, you can complain, you can blame, you can project all of your negativity on the world, your partner, your job, or you can decide right now that I'm now no longer going to become a victim of this. I'm going to put in techniques and measures, find the stress in my life, but I'm going to make sure that this stress does not impact me. I'm going to cut off the emotional attachment to the stress that is draining me every single day by taking the right action. And that's how we start healing and harnessing the intelligence of our body to work for us and not against us. Have a great day, everyone. Until next time, eat smart, move more, sleep right, breathe deep, and remember, you care is all about you.